Michael, it's so lovely to meet you in person.
Yes.
Because we've known each other, haven't we, on
Yep.
camera, but
For a
not-
couple of years on Zoom.
Yeah, that's right.
Welcome to this side of the pond.
Yeah, exactly, and it's been fabulous. So you are the VP of Mobile Technologies at RD Mobile, one of the membership world vetted partners.
Yep.
Talk to us about some of the trends that are happening in mobile, particularly for associations. It's been quite fascinating, even talking to you at breakfast this morning.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's funny when we talk about mobile technology. So I actually started in this role 15 years ago when mobile was a brand new thing. You know, Apple had first launched the App Store for iPhones, and you talk to folks, you'd be like, if you thought about an app, and they're like, what is that? Kind of thing. And so the last decade and a half, there's been a lot of evolution. But when it comes down to what we see today in 2025, I think a lot of membership bodies are facing challenges, threats, if you will, from other technologies that are coming in, just changes in the world, things like that. And so a lot of times when they're looking at their strategic plans, maybe their 5-year strategic plan, they're looking at things like, well, how am I going to increase my membership? How am I retaining my members? How am I attracting the next generation of professionals? How am I increasing my revenue, especially in these days, right? And so what we found is that the cornerstone of those objectives is engagement, because membership organizations provide tremendous value. I mean, to the industries that they serve, and in many ways, like you and I were talking about this morning, the content that they have may be the most trusted content on that subject in the world. And if members don't know about the content, don't know how to find the content, aren't engaged with that content, then the value is so much diminished. And really, if you think about it, Gordon, there's only a couple ways that membership bodies end up actually connecting with their members. They're either on their computer, they're either on their phone, or they're here like at a live event like this one, right? Well, what we find is where mobile comes into play these days is that if organizations have invested a lot of money into their website, and so they've got a great presence maybe on the computer, maybe they run these great events, but the giant hole for most of them in terms of an engagement strategy is those phones, which is crazy because if you think about it, how much time does everyone spend on their phone? I mean, we live on these devices, and so to miss out on that, and so that's really what we've seen, is that when we look at the different ways that memberships, societies, that they are basically engaging with members, a lot of it's either through a peer-to-peer community, it's through content, vetted content, it's through communications from a marketing team, or it's through their conferences and live events. And that's really where, what we've done with our Engagefully 365 product is basically create a member engagement platform for mobile devices that hit on all 4 of those areas. And when you start to combine those, it is incredible the uptick that you'll see in engagement.
100%. And I loved your session yesterday. It was amazing. How can people find out more about RD Mobile?
Sure. So, you can go to rdmobile.com or resultsdirect.com. So they both go to the same place. And and definitely learn about our Engagefully 365 product. We're excited about it and what we've been able to do. And then, we'd love to talk about specific needs and things like that and see how we can help. But it's very exciting to see how organizations all over the world are really starting to engage members at a much, much higher level and therefore accomplish those objectives and therefore change the world.
Fantastic. Lovely to see you.
You too.